Hi, good morning. This is Tarot Combos where we draw two cards and just feel into the energies. What we're learning today, about how those two energies are kind of hitting us, interacting with us. So, what's here today? I'm just noticing all the stuff in my background. Like, there's like my new garbage bag and boink. I started a paper mache project, and so that is um, what's happening back there. A lot of mess, like a lot more clutter, but that's the fun part. Something before I started this reading said something like truth and tenderness. I don't know. That's probably just what I'm feeling this morning. Whatever that means to you, take what resonates. So let's see. Here today, we have death. No wonder feeling tender. There's like some big transformation happening. Challenged by the tower. No freaking way. It's so perfect. It is just so perfect for what I'm feeling. Not only is it two major arcana, but like the majorist. I'm glad I started with that truth and tenderness because it feels like really big transformative energies right now. And there was a full moon. We're in the full moon energy. So yeah, death challenged by the tower. Like look at the imagery of like death, not so much. It's like it almost it's just interesting how it's like sculpture. I think that's interesting. Like makes me think of some things I'll share. And then the tower actually has some color to it, and it's like falling, typical rendering in a way of falling out of a structure where look how their hands, I'm just noticing the characters' hands. I don't know what's better. Probably that forward one was better. I don't know. Woo, let's do both. So, yeah, death challenged by the tower. So, death is, it doesn't mean dying physically, like literally, but it's like something we're putting to rest, something. Something is being put to rest within us, and we may not even realize our role in that, but it's happening. And what is that? It's like something has to leave to make way, to make space for something new to emerge from within us. It's like a rebirth, death and rebirth is the way I think of it. And then the tower is something very disruptive happening, that shakes things up for us, that feels like it's like maybe out of our control. That's why it feels disruptive. It's like, wait a minute, it kind of startled me, shook me up. I lost my footing. I need to restabilize. Uh, and it's not the tower, like these aren't inherently good or bad things. Like shaking things up, I often think of as a very positive thing. We don't tend to like stagnancy, complacency. Now, we also tend not to like disruptive change. Like change is inevitable, it's just always happening. That's just the nature of our universe. Everything is moving constantly. And even on an imperceptible level, we might think, no, nothing's changing. Everything's changing at the smallest levels. If you look And the strongest microscope, you'll notice like everything's vibrating. And so literally everything's constantly changing. So it's not that change is the disruptor, it's that we don't, it's like not like the change itself is something we don't like, but it feels like when it's sudden, unexpected, disruptive, then it kind of feels unsettling, like, oh, I gotta regain my footing. So how could the tower be challenging this transformation we're going through? So maybe that word tender coming back around from like late last year, there was like a reading I did that was, I think it was called Whispers of 2026. And the big feeling in that reading was how this year of 2026 is calling for a lot of tenderness. We went through a lot last year, and honestly, the way the world looks right now, and we look outside at the world, like the geopolitical landscape is like, oh my God, Tower City. And so, what antidote other than tenderness would be just like so potent of an antidote? Tenderness just seems so fitting, so true, that that's what the world needs right now. Like, are you gonna fight force with force? Everyone just gets hurt and nothing moves. Like two immovable forces are not moving. I think we know this by now, right? Like bringing tenderness to like a situation that is like armored up, and like it's like the way a little child can just melt anybody, right? Through their tenderness. Like there's no more armoring up. So it's like it truly is like the most tender thing being the most powerful thing. It's just so great. So what's that have to do with this reading? So what are we going through right now where a piece of us, maybe it's the armored up piece, is like being gently put to rest. Like there's no need to armor up anymore. Not as our go-to MO in life, where we just go through life all the time armored up. In certain situations, yeah, it's important. Protect yourself, set boundaries, like have a firmness when it's called for. But it's like a way of being. I think that's being called to like, hold on. We've got to start like not armoring up all the time, bracing, preparing for like the worst to come at us. The stuff's always happening. The worst, if you want to say that word, I don't believe it, but like is just out there. It's a possibility to come into contact with. But why should we brace for everything we're going to come into contact with? And the off chance we get presented with something that feels not great, that we want to have a firm boundary with. I feel like there's a trust in knowing we can set that and hold that boundary when it's time. So I feel like what's being put to rest, and I think that's why the sculpture spoke to me so much. It's like this rigidity is being, and look at her tenderness, just like, I think it's a her, I don't know, it has long hair, but the figure in the bottom corner is just like melting, just like tender. And this sculpture of rigidity, like even the skeleton, it's interesting, like bone, rigidity, firmness, although we know bones are soft. Like it's just like, and this hand, the skeleton's hand that's like gripping and holding so tight. And also the other hand that's like keeping the world out. Like all of those kinds of I'm getting all the chills, man. All of that energy, that gripping so tight to something, like, and like that rigidity, and then the keeping the world out, like not wanting to face the world but bracing against it. That's time to put that to rest as a way of being in the world 24/7. Like I said, boundaries are important, however, they need to be expressed. And then bringing in the tenderness, this other figure who's like kind of melting. You might, this posture might also seem like hopelessness, but that's not how I'm reading this card. This is very much a softening so like the bracing's going away so that a tenderness can emerge, because that's what's the way forward from here for humanity, is that I think like it almost doesn't even need to be said anymore, and it needs to be said. Do you ever feel that way? Like we're in the in-between, like so many of us already know that, feel it, and yet others need to know it, hear it, feel it. We're not all there yet. And even those of us that might feel like we're there most of the time, there are times where it's like maybe we do feel a little hopeless and we need reminded. So I think we're in the in-between now for a while, where we're going to have to keep being reminders for each other. Like, hey, let's be a little tender here. Hold our boundaries. Hold them, but be tender. Also, there's this idea of like holding something, like an ideal, or like you can think of it even just like goal set, like having a goal, but like holding something as an idea to aspire to, or that we hope will happen, or like a manifestation, like here's what I really hope for in the world or for myself, whatever you're dealing with right now. But holding it lightly, like hold it, but allow it to change in the midst of holding it. So hold things lightly. So it's like when we're out in public too, it goes back to boundaries, like be holding, meaning like I know what my boundaries are now. Like I've defined them. I'm holding them, but I'm going to hold them lightly until like in the moment, I know I need to like solidify that, or let it dissolve. Like, wait, let's just flow. There's no sense of unsafety to me, my personhood, my ideals here. So I just thought that wanted to be said too, like holding, but hold things lightly, so that we allow. That's like an energy of allowing things to change, because this is all rigid, and that's what's being put to rest, so that we can rebirth through tenderness. So how does the Tower challenge that rebirth? I feel like this is very much like with all that. Look at the lightning bolts in the top. Another common depiction in the Tower card is lightning. And I feel like that's like the electricity of when we feel those jolts in our nervous system. So it almost feels like if we're not regulated in our own nervous systems, how can we possibly let down our guard? And how can we possibly let tenderness emerge when tenderness may not have felt safe in the past? If we've had these armors, it's usually out of self-protection, self-preservation. So when the Tower's happening, like things are shifting and changing, and maybe the world, maybe your Tower is like the world stage. Like when you look out there at the political landscape, and like we're in the middle of like a new war that's forming. Like that's a Tower kind of thing when we look out there. I just got all the chills when I said that. It was like it needed to be said for some reason, like recognizing that it's not just one tower. There's like we each have like our towers, the things we perceive to be crumbling around us, causing disruption, and I'm the one falling with nothing, no sense of safety or rescue to hold on to. And this person is like, these hands are so interesting to me in this reading, how they're like, this hand feels like it's trying to let go, like it's like bent back, like don't reach, because when you reach out when you're falling, that's the thing that hurts, is when you actually grab something that's not moving and you're still moving. Like it's gonna hurt. And then this hand feels like it's in the middle of a grip like it has maybe just let go. And the other one's like, okay, don't reach back out and try to go. So it's like we know we need to fall. Old structures have to come down. Old ways of being have to dissolve, to shift. And this is saying, don't cling to the old ways. This person, interestingly, I just had noticed at the beginning, and it's coming back now, this mask they're wearing. Masks are so full of like rich symbolism. So it's like, is what's coming down your even willingness, ability, capacity to keep wearing a mask? And is your is your armor and your mask one and the same? And those are coming down. So if we're going to keep clinging and also keep wearing our mask, like, how does that prevent us from going through this cycle of death and rebirth? What are you no longer willing to mask or armor up for? In what ways does that feel false in your situation, in your life? I feel like, especially as we've gone through a short couple months this year, that's been a question coming to me, is like, there's no more pretending. No, none of our leaders are pretending. They're not hiding the atrocities. Well, they are trying, but it's like, no, they're just like, they may say one thing, do another, and now we're no longer like putting any credence into, is that the word, into what they're saying. We know everything out of the mouth is a falsehood. Like, it's designed to manipulate or placate or whatever. It's like the actions, that's what we're really seeing. You know, there's no more narrative that we can hold on to, attach to. And I feel like that can be true with people too. It's like we're leading by example. Like we know that even stuff comes out of my own mouth, like I'll change my mind tomorrow, you know, because we're constantly evolving and growing. So it's not like we're intending to lie. It's not what I'm talking about, like in an interpersonal way. It's more like we can feel each other's intentions. We can see each other's actions. Like, we are feeling people. And so there's no reason to wear a mask anymore, because I feel like we're all becoming more in tune with that ability to feel each other. It's like years ago when vibes became like a word we all use, you know? It's like we know there are these truths about our lived experience. It's not about what comes out of our mouth. Now, sometimes that can be helpful to people, like to hear things. But then they've got to go in and feel it. How does that ring true for me? So I feel like gone are the days where we put any stock into like what people are saying, because time and again, there's this dissonance between what is said and what is seen, what is said and what is felt. And it's like, at least from our leaders, like these tower moments in our life, it's like we're seeing things. It's like we're not pretending anymore. That's really what it comes down to. We're not pretending that we don't see that. We don't see the truth. We're not pretending anymore. And we're not pretending in our own way anymore. We're just starting to be real with each other. It feels like it's almost like energetically exhausting to pretend. And we know our energy is so valuable. That's all we have. So it's like in these moments where we see so many towers out there, hot flash. It's like we know our energy can't just be wasted or siphoned off into pretending anymore. It's like we know that now. Like, we see the truth. Like, we're taking off the mask. We're not gripping to our pretend world anymore. And starting to do this trust fall, like, okay, things are crumbling. And that so much is happening so quickly in our world, you might call it a split, that it's like all I can do is trust fall. There's no clinging to anything that feels like stability or truth or safety. And I have to feel and create that for myself through tenderness. So it's like, how could all of that get in the way? It's like, well, if we keep wearing the mask, if we keep clinging to the old way, to the old world, to the old pretending, that's going to prevent us from rebirthing in and through tenderness. Like how this old rigidity of our armoring up, the reason we stayed armored up is because we were pretending. Something in us knew there was a dissonance between like what was said and what our reality is. So big major arcana, death and tower, calls for like some real talk, people. But it feels true. It feels like, I know that's what I want. I just want to be tender. I just want us all to stop pretending that we've got it all figured out, that we have to be the strong one. Like, we are all strong, so much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. But we no longer have to like be the strong one armored up. Like, nothing affects me. Like, the problem's out there, not in here. We gotta stop pretending. And I think we're finally realizing that. And we're realizing the energetic and emotional cost of that. And I'm so grateful for that. I feel it, man. I feel it with honestly everywhere. And it's like in this, going back to that hopelessness, there's this thing that's coming to me that's like, if there's a sense of hopelessness that I perceive in people, it's actually not that. It almost feels like the cost, the emotional, energetic. It's almost like a grief of the loss of pretending, but it's not hopelessness. There's actually a lot of hope underneath the grief that we've got to process. Like the grief of, oh yeah, we've been all my energy I've spent all these years pretending. The pretending also is the hopefulness, isn't it? Because it's like we want things to be a beautiful, tender world. And up to this point in our lives, if you're alive with me, we've lived some of the same decades. It hasn't been tender. Like the conditions of our world are set up to like, and I'm an optimistic person. Now, there are so many, like you read the good news stories, right? There's so much good in the world. But obviously, the structures the towers that we've erected are not built for tenderness. And so the other reading I did, just want to say, is like, there's so much hopefulness about the younger generations building the new structures in tenderness. So that I hold that truth also. Right now, I feel like that hopelessness, I'm getting all the chills because all the paradox, all the truths that might seem like opposites are actually truths that we hold together. And it's like that the pretending we were doing is all in the name of hopefulness. That's what was underneath, like right there with the pretending. That's why we're pretending. It's like we hold so much hope in the world, so let's pretend what you say is what you're gonna do, And then the hopelessness is like not that. It feels like the grief of recognizing that we're not pretending anymore. We're not letting go of hope by any stretch. The hope was always there. But we're going to get real and we're going to stop pretending. And that's going to take a grieving process to be like, oh man, I spent all these years in hopeful pretending. And now I'm faced with the reality of whatever your reality is. Like, okay, I no longer am going to, whatever comes out of certain people's mouths, I know it's a flat out lie. There's no integrity in that vessel that I can perceive. And so, okay, that's where we are. Now let's build the new world. There's that hopefulness. But I feel like it takes a grieving period, you know, when we're letting go of something, because death, like, don't we grieve real death? We need to take that time to it's like a processing. We can't just ignore it. It'll live and fester. The grief, I feel like, allows, like, a grief to me is like a movement energy. It's like, I'm getting all the chills, guys. Stop it. Like, grief just feels like movement. The tower forces movement. There's something there about, like, this pretend, when we're stuck in pretend land, we're just not moving, are we? We're in the mask and we're like, everything's good. I have so much hope, so I'm just gonna pretend nothing's wrong here. But, like, we're mobilizing, folks, aren't we? We're mobilizing. And I feel like that means taking off the mask. We're not armoring up. We've been armored up. We are taking off the armor. Doesn't that feel like a paradox? Like, to mobilize in tenderness? Doesn't that feel unsafe? No. It's like potent force. Is it weird to say that tenderness, like soft gooiness, is a force? Again, go back to the, like, when you're all like, I'm in a bad mood, and then you look at all little babies giggling and you're like, you know, or whatever it is for you, a kitten. You go watch a bunch of cat videos and you're like, okay, I'm in a good mood. Like, it's just, it melts everything. It melts the rigidity. Like, so let's just end there, because I feel like that's a truth that we can always anchor back to. Like, it's just like, it's just true. So the rebirth is, we're going to stop pretending, and we're going to, like, let our tenderness emerge. And that means, doesn't everything go back to vulnerability? It's like, to be vulnerable with each other is to let us see our own tenderness, right? We might feel our tenderness, but to see it out in the world means, oh, I will be vulnerable in the presence of others. And it gives each other permission to do that. And we're being tender with each other. Our walls are coming down. And don't we all crave it? I feel like sometimes too, speaking of the younger generations, they came out and are staying tender. A lot of them, a lot more each generation, right? There's more and more tenderness, not willing to become untender. They're like, unless the world's messed up, we're going over here to build a new one in tenderness. Like, we're not changing ourselves. We're not pretending from the get-go here. And I so appreciate that. So it's like, there are teachers. Like, let them be unique snowflakes. I'm thinking of all, like, us older generations, like what we say, like, you gotta toughen up. You gotta toughen up. Oh, you're a unique snowflake. Everybody gets a trophy. And it's like, remember, those were things like us old people would say about the people we were raising. No, let them be unique snowflakes. Let them be tender. Don't make them armor up. Don't toughen them up for the tough world. They are fine. It's the toughening up of us that really did the damage, right? I think we know that now. We're all trying to heal from that now. Gen X and older, I feel like, well, millennials too, they got some of that, but there's not a firm break with these generations, you know. But yeah, let the young people be tender and pave the way, create the new world that we can support, like the other reading said. And this is like a stark reminder to us of like break down your own rigidity, be tender. And that means we have to practice it by being vulnerable with each other. So, oh my gosh, guys. Happy full moon. Yeah, really. Thanks, universe. Bye.